Back at Blizzcon 2016, hot off the release of mega hit Overwatch, Blizzard opened the proceedings with a set of trailers announcing the Overwatch League. The trailer showed off professional players making their own legends on an international stage, intending the Overwatch League to be the newest and biggest step in the evolution of esports. But as Blizzcon 2017 looms in the distance, information about the Overwatch League has been sparse, and we're still wondering what it's all about. Hi, I'm Darrian and Mack with The Leaderboard, and we're about to look at what we know about the Overwatch League, how it compares to the current esports world, and what this emerging force means for the esports as a whole. So before we start getting into the Overwatch League, let's look at how Overwatch Esports scene is currently set up. If you're familiar with the structure of other esports events for games like League of Legends or Counter-Strike, then this should sound familiar. And if not, you're about to get a tutorial. Groups of players get together, usually as members of independent teams like Evil Geniuses or Lunatic High, and then play in different events throughout the year. Sort of similar to sports like golf or tennis, the events aren't necessarily connected and are mostly independently run, with teams buying in or showing up of their own volition. Prize money is often the rewards for top placement at these events, with the prizes being provided by the people running the event. Teams flow from event to event as they choose and build reputation through said events. These teams can be created and dissolved at any time, with the players of each team fluctuating or changing whenever the team owners or players decide to do so. And there's no schedule they really adhere to in regards to other teams. In fact, teams themselves are often only connected to their region as a whole, with teams like Lunatic High being called a South Korean team and Evil Geniuses being a United States team. Even considering that though, these regional classifications often don't hold any bearing when it comes to the tournaments or the event structure. It's usually just a way for the viewers to categorize teams they might not know about otherwise. As far as viewership goes, nearly all esports events are streamed on services like Twitch or YouTube Gaming, and is even the reason why a lot of these platforms exist. A lot of players, signed or not, will even broadcast their casual play on Twitch, and these broadcasts are often what leads to these players being scouted by independent teams. It's a little more involved in this overall, but we're just talking about the general idea of the league structure that most esports games follow from year to year, especially team-based games like League of Legends or Counter-Strike. Now, what makes the Overwatch League different than the professional Overwatch competitive scene as it currently stands today? While a season of the official Overwatch League hasn't happened yet, the trailer they've showed us gives us an idea of what they're intending for the league and how they want things to be set up. The big idea is that they want the Overwatch League to be the biggest and most structured esports league ever. If esports as it stands today is more compared to traditional sports like golf and tennis, they want the Overwatch League to be set up more like basketball and football. The idea is that teams will be made to represent major cities, and that team will persist throughout the league's lifetime, rising and falling just like major sports teams do. Teams like, I don't know, the New York Tracers could be playing against the Denver Widowmakers, while the underdog, the London Genjis, play against the crowd favorite Seoul Reinhardts, or something like that. At least that's the idea anyway. The teams are still coming together as a league. Blizzard wants what they call league stability, meaning teams won't vanish for one reason or another, and that these teams will be permanent fixtures of the league. In the same vein, they want player stability for each player on the team, with players being offered some sort of contract that includes compensation and benefits. While a lot of bigger esports teams in the current setup also offer player contracts, it's a requirement for the teams who want to participate in the Overwatch League. Although we're not sure if these contracts are universal or can be determined by the owners of each team. In another attempt to make the Overwatch League work like large sports leagues, they're including a combine stage into the league timeline, allowing teams to draft players from throughout the game's competitive scene. Teams will be able to draft players based on a lot of different criteria, like the overall ranking in Overwatch's competitive game mode, and results in online events, or some of the events that the current Overwatch competitive scene holds. There's also talk of the Overwatch Contenders, a minor league of sorts that serves as another vehicle to scout players for the Overwatch League. There's also talk of editorial videos that will follow the playstyles and career paths of some of the players going into the Combine, but we don't know what they'll be like since a Combine hasn't happened yet. It seems like teams can draft players from any corner of the world, but it's unknown if these players will be moved to specific facilities to practice with their teammates or if they can remain long distance. While the combine stage ends, rosters for the season are finalized and then the season begins. As far as how the structure goes, the Overwatch League is set to be broken up into two parts, a regular season and a playoff season. Yep, again, just like traditional sports leagues like football or basketball, the regular league pits the teams against one another in live, in-person LAN games, racking up a score to determine the top team to participate in the playoffs. The games themselves are rumored to be played in stadiums at some point, with cities already starting to build stadiums explicitly for esports. It's a dream that doesn't seem too far off. Blizzard itself has even built their own esports stadium in Tapai, and it seems like more could be coming in the future. As the Overwatch League goes on, they want to expand the cities that participate in the league, and rumor has it that these leagues might be broken up into regional leagues that come together to run a world championship, like some sort of FIFA league for football and soccer. With that in mind, it's also important to note that this is different than Blizzcon's Overwatch World Cup, which is closer to the Olympics, with teams of players from a region being handpicked just for this specific event and then being dissolved immediately afterwards. So with all this pomp and circumstance, it's clear that Blizzard wants the Overwatch League to be big, the biggest even. No esports league has ever attempted something so big before, and it's hard to tell what is exactly in store, but we have some clues about what's on the way. The biggest thing about this big league is that it's looking, well, big. There's huge money being thrown around, with rumors about the price of buying a team flying anywhere between $2 million and $20 million. Blizzard has invited all sorts of owners of traditional sports teams to events to discuss the league, and there are rumors that major sports teams' owners are already buying in. One rumor in particular cites that the owners of the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots have dropped big bucks in the terms of millions to buy a franchise slot in the Overwatch League. But all of this big money is having an interesting effect on the competitive future of Overwatch as a whole, as many of the traditional esports teams like Evil Geniuses feel like they've been put in an awkward spot. A lot of these teams feel that the sheer scope of the Overwatch League is pushing them to the curb. Not many, if any, can afford the rumored price tag for a franchise. The league's city-based structure is leading a lot of tournament organizers to invest more heavily into the United States scene, well, because they have more major cities. Now that's great for the US, but it's leaving many feeling like the European scene is suffering as a result in other scenes around the world. A few teams based in Europe have disbanded or aren't including Overwatch any longer in their repertoire of games. They feel like the money just isn't there, at least not yet. Some of the rumors even merited a response from Blizzard, warning those interested not to trust everything they've read and stressing their commitment to the community. Now, it's not all doom and gloom though. Even among some of these scenes, the players are excited about the big opportunities the prospective size of the Overwatch League presents. Already we're seeing esports teams being purchased by people in the traditional sports world, with names like the Philly 76ers and Shaquille O'Neal buying into the scene. What does this all mean for the future of competitive Overwatch, and when can we expect to know more? With details on the Overwatch League sparse, we have just a few more insights. Blizzard has talked about their immediate plans for the league, which begin with a shorter length sort of test season that's scheduled to start sometime in Q3. We don't know when in Q3, but the quarter begins on July 1st, so people are starting to anticipate more news soon. Blizzard also hopes to have the first true season of the Overwatch League in 2018, which includes a 6-month off-season in which to help put emphasis on the events and tournaments that helped found the Overwatch competitive scene in the first place. With efforts on coexisting with the already established Overwatch scene, it'll be interesting to see how they interact with each other, and a lot of players and fans are certainly excited for the future. Rumors are swirling about the potential new features, such as in-game items to coincide with the league teams, and players are hoping that an in-game spectator mode is enabled to allow fans to watch Overwatch League games through their own copy of Overwatch. It's not so crazy of an idea either. Dota 2 has a system that allows players to do just that, as well as Heroes of the Storm, another Blizzard property. Talks are in place to get Overwatch League games broadcast on major TV networks too, and they've even gotten a little experience doing that, broadcasting an Overwatch Open on TBS last year. So while a lot of what we've heard is speculative, the silence is said to be breaking soon. Q3 is approaching fast, with many expecting an announcement shortly before or after the quarter changes, giving Blizzard a chance to fill the information void surrounding the Overwatch League. And while there's still much to figure out, it's certainly exciting to think about, isn't it? Personally, I can't wait to get my hands on a New York, whatever there'll be, jersey. Please, be the New York Death Blossoms. Once again, I'm Darrian P. Mack, and thanks for watching Overwatch League, Fact and Rumors. Are you excited about Blizzard's plans for the league, or do you think it's just too soon to launch such an ambitious plan? Comment below and let us know. And if you want to read more about the Overwatch League, check out the links in the description. We have new videos dropping every week, so let us know what games you want us to cover next. And if you like getting more out of your game, subscribe to the leaderboard, where we help you game smarter.